Okay, you're a modern FPS player, you're sitting at your big rig, you're waiting for Escape from Tarkov or whatever the hell people play these days, I don't even know. You're waiting for it to boot up in 16K resolution, and you see this video and you're recommended. You think to yourself, how is a compare and contrast video about two games from 4,000 years ago relevant to me in any way? Well, it isn't, but we're going to talk about it anyway. I'll start off by saying that I've played a lot more Doom than I have Quake, hence the bias part, and I still think Quake is a decent game. Having said that, I have some quibbles. Some Quake quibbles. I'm also going to be comparing Doom 1 and 2 against Quake. They both run in the same engine, and we're talking about how the gameplay and thematic elements have aged, rather than doing a game-for-game comparison of the franchises here. All the Quake fans out there, they're going, Quake is definitely going to win this one, because look at all the beautiful 3D models, the true three-dimensional environments you can jump around in, and yes, Quake was a pretty incredible example of 3D graphics at the time of its release, and there is an endearing character to the polygonal monsters and the early model work for the weapon gallery, but at the end of the day, Doom's 2D sprites, flat texture work, and fake 3D geometry just seem to hold up better in a lot of ways. They're charming. I mean, look at this guy. The reason Doom looks better than a lot of similar games at the time is that the sprites in Doom have a large number of rotations, so the monsters still feel solid even in 3D environments, unlike something like Doom 64 for instance, where the monsters just look like a bunch of cardboard cutouts. Something Draku kindly pointed out in his interview for the podcast.
I hate the claymation enemies, they look so terrible.
Okay, moving on before Doom 64 fans stop foaming at the mouth. It's important to note that even though Doom's an older game than Quake, it can still produce some really nice lighting effects in its engine, and what really sets it apart is its colourful palette and varied texture choices throughout the game, which really help to make it feel vibrant and varied, even in its most hellish environments. It's a melding of 2D and 3D that harmonizes well, and allows Doom to occupy a unique place where its graphics can be appreciated as artistic without working too hard to emulate realism. Now, Quake was at the advent of 3D technology, so it sits in this awkward period where we were dealing with a lot of square hands and even squarer heads. Graphics aren't what hurts Quake's replayability though. What does that is a series of other factors like the monster and weapon sandbox, the level design, and the environments. Quake is, well, it's brown. The enemies are brown, the walls are brown, the floors are brown. Sometimes there's like sky, but then more brown. Sometimes the water's brown and the guns are brown. There's even more brown. Once again, when it comes to Doom's monsters versus Quake's, we have to come back to variants. Did I mention Quake's monsters are brown? Because most of them do fit neatly in a sort of dirt rainbow of pale brown to a deep stinky brown at the other end. Now if we just talk about raw numbers, Quake 1 and 2 actually have more monsters in them compared to Doom 1 and 2 respectively. But we're not just talking about how many monsters the games have in them. What's actually important is the variance and the combat that the monsters promote. Okay, so you're playing Doom 2 and you see this guy. Yes, hello, you're really loud, we know. Now he's either going to shoot a non-homing rocket at you, or a homing one, and if he gets close to you, he's going to try to punch you, which you can bait out in a rhythmic way until you're ready to deal with him. Now the speed of the homing projectile allows you to perform a nice little circular pattern to loop around it, or you can make a little figure eight or whatever you want to do. You can easily crash into the wall due to its turning circle. You have a lot of ways to deal with this situation is what I'm saying. Now, you boot up Quake, and you see this guy. You're going to see him shoot a projectile at you, and you're going to find a wall to hide behind, because the homing rocket never stops.
And it absolutely will not stop. Ever. Until you are dead.
Oh, and then you get the joy of shooting it for 4 minutes until it dies. Honestly, the big problem with Quake's monsters is the kill time. Every single monster in Quake has too much health. Gameplay options become a lot more limited when you have to plow rockets into a monster or stand there shooting a shambler for 20 seconds because you don't have any Thunderbolt ammo. And yes, you know, this can happen in Doom as well with stronger monsters if you don't have the right weapon, but boy does it feel like it happens a lot more in Quake. A lot of it comes down to how satisfying the monsters are to kill as well. Now, you know, this is down to gameplay, but it's also down to sound design. I mean, Doom sounds like this. play Quake, and it's like this. Well, the grenade launcher sounds pretty cool, I guess. It's got that going for it. Honestly, even when you have the right weapon for the job in Quake, it mostly feels pretty lackluster to kill things. Fact is that while the Shambler may be one of the flickers of brilliance in Quake's roster in terms of creature design, can anybody pass a lie detector test and tell me that this is anywhere close to as fun as this?
Machine is never wrong, son.
Oh wow, here we go. Oh my god, this lore. There's the corpse of the monstrous entity. Kshthon.
It just doesn't really pay off in the current generation of things to devote that much effort to it.
Now, I did touch on gameplay when I spoke about the monsters from each game earlier, but there's obviously more to it than that. Now, undeniably Quake has some pretty fun movement when you're actually good at it. I am not, which means that the true 3D experience for me often revolved around failing simple jumps and exploding. Now, if you're a bunny hopping Omega Quaker, the movement in Quake is probably going to beat out Doom for you. And that's fair enough. Note that the focus here though is on single player and not multiplayer. Okay, Quake man, stop. Please. Okay, thank you. So what I was saying was, really Doom guy, we're on the same team here. There isn't even a secret there. Alright, so, back to the point I was The point is, I'm focusing on the single player and not the multiplayer, which, look, I know that's going to upset a lot of people, and to those people, I just want to say a really sincere, I don't care. So let's get back to talking about the single player. Unfortunately, due to the tankiness of the monsters and the generally dull projectile patterns they output, you'll usually find yourself doing a sort of side-to-side hopping dance through levels as you slowly chop away at health bars and try to stop your eyes from glazing over from all the copious amounts of brown. Guys, seriously, it's really brown. The game is brown. Now obviously Quake has proper free look, which will be a big win for some people, but honestly the way Doom plays on one plane with auto-aim feels pretty good, even in 2023. Absolutely no complaints here. One of the major things that separates Doom from Quake is the amount of monsters the games can handle. Quake's more complex monster AI, I guess, and 3D models use more resources, so you won't be fighting massive hordes of them essentially, but if we look at even vanilla Doom content, well, you can really pack them in there. And personally, I just find this more fun than this. Most people probably think of Doom and they think about fast-paced action. They think about the fact that Doom Man can run as fast as the Flash, or Wally West, or Barry Allen. Wait, they're all the same guy? Okay, but like, what's this guy though? Anyway, Doom Guy is fast, and a lot of Doom's levels are built around continuous momentum, but there's also a lot of levels that are built around suspense. The amount of lighting contrast and use of textures to create varied spaces helps to make transitional periods between areas in Doom 1 and 2, and it really helps to create tension that breaks up the constant movement. Quake does make some theme shifts throughout the game, but the lack of distinct points of interest in the level design makes for less unique gameplay moments. And the fact that you're nearly always bouncing around dealing with monsters that bum rush you means that the designers have less opportunities to build tension and give different flavors of gameplay. Now Bobby Prince, he knew how to serve up different flavors. Hey, Trent Reznor, what have you got served up for us for Quake? Oh, so you thought that sounded pretty good, huh? It's like your favorite song from Quake? Well, that's actually a washing machine and a dryer with a French horn underneath it that I put together myself, so, you know, think about that.